We can't teach you extremely bad and offensive swear words, though we are quite expert users of them because we run the risk of being banned from places like Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube. However, in this episode, we've collected some of the milder and softer expletives that shouldn't get you into too much trouble. That being said, we suggest you don't play this podcast if you have young children nearby or if you have particularly sensitive ears. Welcome to this naughty episode of
Aprender Inglés with Reza and Craig.
Hi, I'm Reza.
And my name's Craig.
And with nearly 60 years of teaching between us, we hope to help you improve your English and take it up to the next level. Well, Craig, how are you doing?
I'm doing very well. I'm looking forward to looking at some swear words because I don't think we've spoken about swear words, bad words at all in the past. We've definitely avoided them for the sake of being a clean podcast, but there are some swear words that we can use, and I don't think they would cause too much offense. Do you use swear words with your students?
I teach them about some of the milder ones, or if they ask me about some of the harder ones, if they ask me, I will explain it because I think it is a part of the language that you need to know. I mean, you could get into trouble if you don't know them because you might think that a word is okay to use anywhere, but it's actually quite a strong swear word, but you've heard it on a TV series, you've read it in a book, and then you might use it and get into trouble. So it's a good idea, I think, for learners to know about swear words. What about you?
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. If I get asked by students about the meaning of swear words, I'll definitely give them an explanation. And as you said, more importantly, when it's okay to use these swear words and when it's maybe better to avoid them. But what's interesting in the list that we're going to give you today is that most swear words, whether the swear words are extreme or maybe mild or moderate swear words tend to be connected to religion, sex, or bodily functions, things you do in the toilet. Those are the three main areas, aren't they?
Yes, and I reckon that's the same in most languages in the world, I would imagine. Certainly the languages that I know a little bit about, Spanish, Valencian, Portuguese, French, German, Italian, the ones that I know about, I'm not expert in, but it's always those things, isn't it? Bodily functions, religion, and what was the other one you said?
Sex.
Sex, yeah. Those are the three things.
Definitely.
Sure.
Oh, damn, I've just spilt my water on the desk. What does damn mean?
Well, first of all, we better spell it because it's not so obvious. D-A-M-N. Pronounced damn. So you don't pronounce the final N, but you have to write it. So it expresses frustration or simply for emphasis. So Craig said that he spilt his water, oh damn, or he could say, damn, I forgot my keys, he's frustrated. Or for emphasis, you're damn right I said that. Not just you're right, you're damn right. You're right, and I'm proud of it, you know?
You sounded a bit American when you said that.
Yeah, because for me, damn, it is more popular in American English. I don't know. I think of Americans more when I hear damn. What about you?
I think you're damn right, buddy.
Damn right.
Damn right, buddy.
I don't give a damn what he thinks. Yeah, could be another one.
Or right at the end of the very famous film Gone with the Wind, which is Lo que el viento se llevó in Spanish. Frankly, my dear, I don't give a damn, which is Clark Gable speaking to Vivian Leigh at the end of that film. Now, don't confuse damn with an N at the end with damn, D-A-M, which is a noun and a verb, which means to stop water, to create a reservoir. So a dam is a big wall that stops the water from flowing in a river. There's a softer version of damn, isn't there, if you don't want to offend people?
Yes, one that I would very rarely use myself, but I like it. But I guess it's more typical in American English again,
Yeah.
which is I'm going to try and say it with a silly American accent. Darn. D-A-R-N. So that's basically the same meaning of damn, but it's, I think, a bit more polite than damn. For example, instead of saying, damn it, I missed the bus, you could say, darn it, I missed the bus. And it's even milder than damn. It can be used as a past participle. The same as damn, by the way. You can say damned. You can put an ed at the end. And the same with darn. For example, you could say, it's that darn advert on the TV again. I'm sick of it. So you can put an ed, but you don't have to, on the word darn or the word damn and make it a past participle adjective, like that darned advert. But you can also say darn without the ed. They're both right. Darned advert or darn advert.
Yeah, and I think darn, as Reza said, is definitely used more in American English. The next one is possibly used equally both sides of the Atlantic, and that's crap, C-R-A-P, which is used to talk about something you think is worthless or very bad or useless. You can say this phone is crap or it's a piece of crap, and it's like saying it's a piece of S-H-I-T. It's useless. You can also use the adjective crappy with a Y, C-R-A-P-P-Y, and say, oh, this crappy car has broken down again, and now I'm late for work. So crappy is the adjective, a crappy piece of equipment. It's useless, it's rubbish, it's no good. You can also use the expression bull crap, B-U-L-L, the animal. So the excrement that comes out of an animal could be bull crap, and you can use it to say that someone's speaking rubbish. Oh, Reza, again, you're speaking bull crap.
A common thing which occurs, I have to admit. But as we often say, speaking bull crap never prevents us talking about something, even though we don't know what we're talking about. We've done many, many episodes where we don't really know what we're talking about, but we do know how to speak English. This one is an exception. When it comes to swear words, we do know what we're talking about. We are experts in this.
Because we use them every day. And last week we spoke about IKEA and tools and things that you use to put furniture together. And we mentioned screws. Screws and the verb to screw. And screw it or screw this is to give up on something because you're really frustrated. Like, oh, I can't do this grammar exercise. It's really difficult. Screw it. Or screw this, I'm going to the beach. Screw it, I'm not going to the party. I don't know anyone.
You can also use screw as a substitute for a much stronger word beginning with F.
Sexual intercourse.
I could say to you, screw you. And I could replace it with a word with F ending in K, and it would be much stronger. Screw you is a much milder version than you. Now, the word spelled S-H-I-T, probably better if I don't say it, word which means feces, defecation. We have a milder version of that, S-H-O-O-T, shoot. That's right. It's the same word by chance, which means when you fire a gun, for example, you shoot a gun. But that's not really where the origins come from. It's simply a mispronunciation of the other word, S-H-I-T, on purpose to make it milder, to make it a softer version. So it's polite exclamation for frustration or surprise. For example, oh, shoot, I left my wallet at home. So I could have used the stronger one, but using shoot is okay. Craig, we've got something in Northern Ireland, but I have a funny feeling it's a regional thing, but I may be wrong. Sometimes people in Northern Ireland say SH1T. Not I. I know that the original word, the more extreme word we're thinking about is SHIT, but as a kind of funny thing, people might say, for example, you might hear this in Belfast, I can't believe that film was so bad. It was SH1T.
I've never heard that before.
It must be a Belfast thing. Okay. I wasn't sure if it was regional or not. It is. So we misspell and we put one instead of I, and then that makes it funny. That's a Belfast thing, I guess.
Oh, that's curious. I do know that in Northern Ireland and in Scotland, it's quite common to say shite, S-H-I-T-E, which is very different to S-H-I-T in pronunciation, but it's the same thing, right?
Yep. Yeah, you'll hear them 50-50. In Belfast, half the time you'll hear S-H-I-T, and half the time you'll hear S-H-I-T-E. And occasionally, S-H-1-T.
Okay. We're getting confused here. So let's come out of the toilet with words like crap and shoot and go back to religion. Hell is the opposite of heaven. That's where the devil lives underground with all the fire and brimstone. And hell is obviously no surprise that we can use that as a mild swear word. Where the hell are my glasses? Or, as I said this morning under my breath, where the hell is Reza? He's late again. So it's common when you're frustrated or to give emphasis to something. Where the hell is it? Or why the hell did you do that?
And as Craig's demonstrating, it tends to go with a question word and the word the. Have you noticed that? How the hell did you do that? Or why the hell did you do that? Or who the hell is that?
Who the hell do you think you're talking to?
It tends to go with a question word and the hell, doesn't it?
Exactly. Now, if you want a slightly softer version of hell, you can say heck, H-E-C-K, which is a bit cleaner. And again, you use that for emphasis in the same way. What the heck is going on? Or why the heck did you do that?
Our next one is a British classic. Not at all common in North American English. They rarely, if ever, use it, but very, very common in British English, Irish English as well. I wonder about the Australians and New Zealanders.
Yeah, they use it. Yeah, yep. Definitely.
The word is bloody. B-L-O-O-D-Y.
With the vowel sound bloody.
Bloody. So it's used to intensify anger or frustration. For example, imagine I'm sitting in a traffic jam, my car, I'm not moving anywhere. I say, this bloody traffic is unbearable. So not just this traffic, this bloody traffic. So it's very, very common, but it's considered pretty mild. It's not extreme. You probably won't get into trouble for saying bloody. You could also say, what the bloody hell do you think you're doing? It often collocates with the word hell, doesn't it? Bloody hell. What the bloody hell? Or what? You spent all my money? Bloody hell. You ate the last biscuit, Craig? Bloody hell. Not again.
Typical. But it's not only used for negative reasons. You can also use it to describe something positive. You could say, hey, have you heard Reza and Craig's English podcast? It's bloody good, you know. You can also use it as an intensifier for positive adjectives.
By the way, as a little historical etymology here, you might think it comes from the word blood, but it doesn't. Do you know about the origins of bloody?
No, tell us.
We don't know for sure, but most linguists say that it's a contraction of by Our Lady.
Oh, yes, I think I've heard that before.
So instead of saying by Our Lady, hell, sir, you could say bloody hell. Okay. So by Our Lady got reduced to bloody.
So it's not from blood that's in our body. Interesting.
And there was a time in history, several hundred years ago, that people would say, by Our Lady, no. So by Our Lady, they are invoking the help or the participation of the Virgin Mary. By Our Lady, hell, bloody hell, it has become. That's where we think it comes from.
Makes sense, because then we go back to religion again. Going to sex, bugger is a mild swear word with a sexual connotation, and it's mildly rude in British English, and it's used to express annoyance or surprise. So when you're annoyed or surprised about something, you can say, oh, bugger, B-U-G-G-E-R. As usual, go to the website to look at these words and the explanations and the examples, inglespodcast.com/582. You can also tell someone to bugger off if they're annoying you. So go away. Just bugger off, will you? Leave me alone.
The next word is back to body parts, probably. No, probably no, definitely.
Definitely, I think. Yeah, we don't all have them, but they're definitely parts of our body.
Well, you may not, I do, mate.
I've definitely got them.
Yeah, definitely. But not all our listeners, but Craig and I definitely do. Oh, yeah, you can be sure of that.
Less since I've been married, but they're still there.
So we're talking about balls. And you know what? We have a feeling it's so obvious we don't even need to explain which part of the body they are a synonym for. We don't need to give you the medical correct terminology for balls, this part of the body that men have. But also there's a British variation. You won't find it in American English, but in British English, bollocks.
Very common, isn't it?
Very common. BOLLOCKS. Or just for fun, sometimes spelled BOLLOX as a little bit of extra fun. But bollocks.
Extra fun.
Yeah, you like that? You see what I did with that?
I see what you did
see
there.
What I did with that? So balls or bollocks are used to call something nonsense. That's one possibility. Or simply for expression of frustration. For example, I quite often say things which are probably not very sensible, and Craig might say to me,
"You're talking bollocks," or "That's a load of bollocks, Reza."
Yeah, I quite often say things which make no sense. They could be described as a load of bollocks.
What a load of bollocks. Or for frustration, you could say, "Oh, bollocks, I forgot my keys again." Let's take a quick break here because I know you listen to this podcast to take your English to the next level. But what about your speaking? Is your fluency improving? Are you happy with your speaking skills? My conversation course focuses on making you a more confident and more fluent English speaker. You'll join me and a small group of motivated students, and we'll meet on Zoom and have topical discussions, role plays, debates, and presentations that will expand your vocabulary and help you express yourself effectively in English. So be proactive and take the first step towards becoming a confident and fluent English speaker. Send me an email today to craig@inglespodcast.com and I'll send you details of the next online conversation course. Thanks for listening. Now let's get back to the podcast.
The next word, it sounds like a verb to get, G-E-T, but it's usually spelled G-I-T. Some people pronounce it get. Some people say git. It should really be git, but I've heard people say get. You get, but probably get most of the time. And it's a mild insult, meaning an unpleasant or annoying person. It very, very, very often collocates with cheeky and little. So imagine someone's really annoying you. You might say, "You cheeky little git." It's a very common collocation, a very typical combination of words. A cheeky little git, an annoying person.
And I think it's definitely more British English than American, isn't it? You might say to someone, "Don't be such a selfish git. Share some of your chocolate." The next one is, I think, one of the strongest of our mild collection or moderate swear words, and it's bastard. Now, originally, many years ago, a bastard meant someone who was born to parents who were not married. So you are born and the mother and the father of the child, they're not married, they're unmarried, so the child will be called a bastard. And it's evolved to become a swear word and a strong insult. And also used sometimes among friends, but be careful where you use this and the other words because context does matter. So if you don't have a close relationship with someone, definitely if you're strangers or if you're not very close to a person, don't call them a bastard. Not a good idea. But if someone wins at the casino or wins a prize or passes an exam or does something, you could say, oh, you lucky bastard. So it's not always an insult, but it can be very offensive in certain circumstances.
Yes, be careful how you use it. Yeah, only if you're very comfortable with that person, only then can you use it. If not, probably don't use it. Because as Craig said, and I want to try to show off my knowledge of Spanish, you have a nice little euphemism as well. Bastard could mean hijo de la Gran Bretaña. So be careful.
I see what you did there. Now, we're going back to body parts, but not the front of the body like bollocks. We're going to the opposite side, the back of the body, and we're going to talk about the bum, or in a mild swear word, arse. A-R-S-E. That will be in British English, and the American word is ass. A-S-S. And it can mean buttocks. It can mean your posterior behind you, where you sit. But it could also mean an idiot. You can call someone an arse if they're arsing about. If they're being an idiot, you can say, what are you doing, you arse? Stop doing that. You can get people to hurry up by saying, move your arse. For another example, you can say that someone made an arse of themselves at the Christmas party. You can also work your arse off if you're working very hard. I'm really busy this week. I've been working my arse off.
And where there's an arse, literally, I mean physically, there's an arse hole. If not, you're going to have grave problems going to the toilet. And that is another variety of arse. You can simply add the word hole to the word arse, and now you've got arsehole. Or in American English, asshole. So it's slightly stronger, but it's more or less the same idea. You could say, he's a complete arse, or a little bit stronger, he's a complete arsehole. Or asshole. Or I've heard Americans wanting to make asshole a little bit milder, so they'll say, he's an a-hole. Have you ever heard that?
Yeah.
He's an a-hole, man.
Yeah. Have you heard the expression, opinions are like assholes?
No?
Everybody has one.
Right.
Now, to telling someone to go away or get lost if you're a bit angry or annoyed or bothered by someone, as a mild swear word, you could tell somebody to sod off. S-O-D. Now, literally, and I don't know if there's a connection, but a sod is a piece of grass covered soil. So soil or earth that has grass on top. For example, if you want to put grass in your garden, then you would lay sod on the garden. But it is commonly used as a swear word in British English, and you can call someone a sod, which means someone that you're really annoyed at, who's done maybe bad things to you. And as a phrasal verb, you can tell someone to just sod off, get lost, go away. Why don't you just sod off?
Craig, you might be right. Nobody knows for sure. But your description of sod connected to earth isn't what I've heard about the origins of it. Sod, I'm afraid to say, is connected to the word, I would say, sodomy.
Ah, okay.
So if you sod off, it's pretty much the same as bugger off, which is also connected to the idea of sodomy.
Yeah.
So bugger off is pretty much the same as sod off, like go sodomize yourself.
Right, yeah.
So you're really not welcome here.
That makes a lot of sense. Of course, sodomy is a sexual act of anal intercourse. That's the meaning of sodomy. And a sodomite, I believe, is the person who does it.
Yeah, so I think most sources say, but we can never be sure, that that's the origins of sod off. The origins of the next word are completely clear. There's no doubt whatsoever. Piss off. Piss
That's
is
stronger than sod off, isn't it?
Yeah, and there's no ambiguity at all. To piss is a slightly vulgar way of saying to urinate. So piss off, go away, urinating, if you like. So that's not a very pleasant thought. So if you tell someone to piss off, you're saying you really don't want them to be with you. Piss off. I'm busy. Leave me alone. Or why don't you just piss off and leave me alone? So it's a fairly strong one, but it's not as strong as the one beginning with F, ending with K, off. That's a bit worse.
And like all of these words, and I think it's a good idea to repeat it and say it again, these words depend on the context in which they're used and the relationship you have to the person you're speaking to. So if somebody comes up to you in the street because they're trying to do a survey or maybe even ask you for some money, please don't tell them to piss off. Just say, I'm sorry, I don't have time at the moment. So be careful where and with whom you use these words. The next one too is also very context specific, and that's tosser, Tosser, which is connected to masturbation, and also the stronger word Wanker, which is somebody who masturbates. So if you call someone a tosser, in British English, the Americans don't use it very much, but it's kind of meaning that the person is an idiot, that don't listen to that person. He's a total tosser. He's not worth listening to. He's a bit of an idiot. And it can be quite a strong swear word. Do you agree, Reza?
Yes, and the American equivalent would be a jerk, Jerk, because the phrasal verb to jerk off is to masturbate.
Although I think jerk might be slightly milder, in my opinion, than tosser. I think tosser tends to be moderate.
Yeah, but you wouldn't hear tosser in American English.
No.
You're only going to hear jerk. So it's a verb, but it's also a person. A jerk is an American tosser, but a bit milder, as Craig says.
Now, we've mentioned a couple of times one of the strongest words, which is the F word. And as Reza said, it's F blank blank K. We won't say it. But other F words, fudge and frig, are both euphemisms. You can use those in place of the F word. Fudge is spelled Fudge, and it's quite a mild replacement for Fuck. You can use it with family so that you don't offend your relatives. And it's also quite common in the US. For example, I've missed the last bus home. I've got no money for a taxi. Oh, fudge. And frig is similar, isn't it?
Yes, a frig is pretty much a replacement for Fuck in any context. For example, I could say to you, hey, you, stop frigging about with that saw. It's dangerous. So I could have used the stronger word beginning with F rather than frigging. About, I could have said, about. Or, what the, we could use the strong word, Fuck, or we could say, what the frig have you done now, you idiot? Or, I couldn't give a frig what you think, frankly. Better to say frig than Fuck. It's a little bit milder.
Yeah, of course, there are situations when you can use more extreme swear words, but I think you get the idea with these. They tend to be milder, but again, we want to remind you to be very careful and think about the context. But now it's your turn to practice your English. Do you have similar, softer substitute words for swearing in your language? If you do, we would love to hear from you. And we know there are some languages that tend to be more expressive than others when it comes to swearing. So do you think your language has very expressive swear words? Why don't you send us a voice message and tell us what you think? We will include it in a future podcast. You can send your voice messages to us by SpeakPipe. That's speakpipe.com/Ingles podcast. There'll be a link in the show notes. What about emails, Reza?
If you prefer to write, please go ahead, but don't include any swear words, hopefully. Write an email to craig@inglespodcast.com or me, belfastreza@gmail.com.
I would encourage listeners to send us swear words, especially in their voice messages, because if they're mild swear words from this podcast and they're not being used correctly, we can help you and correct you in a future show.
As long as they're mild ones.
As long as they're mild, yeah. Don't tell us to off, but or do if you feel that way. If you are a Spanish speaker and you want to improve your English with free and paid resources, why not visit the Mansion Ingles website at mansioningles.com. And for paid products, you can browse the online store at store.mansioningles.net.
As always, we'd like to say thank you very much to all our Patreon supporters. And people who have joined the Patreon program, they make a small donation to the podcast. And as a way of saying thank you for their donation, we give them instant access to the audio transcriptions of the podcast. And as a little extra bonus, the chance to sign up for live Zoom chats with Craig so that you can further practice your speaking. If you're interested, there's a link in the show notes. It's patreon.com/Ingles podcast.
Unfortunately, we don't have time to thank all of you lovely people individually who are supporting us on Patreon, but we will say hello and a huge thank you to our most recent supporters who have joined us this month. And they are Victor Gutierrez and Priscilla Benavides. Thank you very much to you and to all of our wonderful Patreon supporters. What's next week, Reza?
Actually, I've no idea what the hell we'll be talking about next week.
That's why we need some feedback. So please let us know what you'd like us to talk about, and we'll be more than happy to create a podcast on any vocabulary area or grammar point that we have not already covered. So we're waiting for your messages. Until next time, thank you for listening this week. It's goodbye from me.
And it's bye-bye from me.
If you enjoyed this podcast, please mention it to one of your friends so that more people can listen. And we remind you that the music this week is by Pitts. The track is called See You Later.